Welcome to Guided by Third Wheel, the podcast. My name is Amber Ireland, and I'm here with my co-host, Jill Bucaro. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Guided by Third Wheel. Today we're going to do something a little different that has my neurotic, controlling personality struggling. But we are coming into this podcast without a super serious plan of what we want to talk about. Our thoughts are, we're in mid-April now when we're recording this, but we're at the beginning of the second quarter of the year. It seems as if in Dayton the seasons have finally turned. We had the longest winter ever. I don't feel like our winter was particularly cold. It was just a winter that never ended. But the sun is out. I'm not wearing a winter coat down to my ankles.
My seasonal depression is lifted a little. I feel good about it.
I feel the sun on my face. So all of that is good. And we thought we would just do some chill chatting, reflecting on the first quarter of the year. We have some cool business opportunities this year. You and I have both done a fair amount of traveling. Work has been kind of busy. Our 9-to-5s have been busy this first part of the year. So we thought we'd just check in with you guys and share some stuff that we've got coming up later in the year. Amber, you go first. How was your Q1?
I don't think my Q1 was as busy as yours. In some regards. I didn't travel as much as you did, but I have lots of travel coming up, which I love to travel, so it's exciting. But then now when I look at my calendar, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be home and gone and home and gone and home and gone. And so we'll see how that plays out. I feel like I'm better poised to deal with that now than I used to be. I've got some good things that I carry with me all the time that kind of help me stay grounded and not feel so anxious about being gone all the time. But I am excited about that. And third wheel life has been really busy. More busy than I think it has ever been.
Third wheel life has been so busy in such a good way. We have a couple bigger gigs. I guess I wouldn't even say bigger, just more involved.
Yes.
And it's been exciting that we've been able to really expand our reach. I feel like we're really doing work that to me feels very aligned. We've gotten to bring in some subcontractors. We have been able to work with really vulnerable people in our community and make a difference. You know, when you train people or you consult and you help people build programs, you know you're making a difference, right? You know that you're leaving a positive impact. You're able to connect with the folks that are at your training. But this work, we have literally been able to mobilize a team that are helping folks who are unhoused to get housed quicker. And it feels really good. It really does.
Yeah. It feels more direct servicey without as much direct. I don't even know how
without
to explain
the pain of direct service.
I don't even know how to explain it, but every day I go on and I check my 100 best friends online to see where they are so that we can find them and make sure that they get their assessments and that they have an opportunity to be housed quicker in Montgomery County. And it's been a lot of work, but it's just become part of my routine every morning. I'm like, oh, where are you today? I hope that you're where I can find you.
Right. And Amber has this beautiful color-coded spreadsheet. And on the first tab of the spreadsheet, you basically get to see all the people that we've connected with and that we've been able to get on the list, and just to be able to scroll through that and see how many. I know we hit 200. And my God, you guys, we did it fast and furious. So while Amber is checking on people every morning and coordinating, getting our contractors out there and connecting with these folks, your girl Jill is reading all of these assessments and signing off on them on the back end. And I think we did our first 150 in 6 weeks.
Yes, for sure.
It was wild. Because I was like, oh, this will be a fun little side hustle. And I'm like, Amber, if I have to read one more diagnostic assessment, I will burst into tears. But this has been a fun change up in our third wheel routine. And it does feel good. And I don't know if it's something we anticipate will last forever and ever, but it has been nice.
I hope that it doesn't last forever and ever, because like everything that we do, it's where can we step in and help to fill a gap temporarily so that the people who should be able to fill the gap can learn how to do it, negotiate it, and figure it out, right? Yes. And we were seeing a gap in our community. We were willing to fill it, and I'm hoping that the players in the game decide this feels more manageable, because there were a lot of people that had fallen through the cracks for those assessments, and so now it's back up to that manageable level and less overwhelming, and hopefully we can step out of that and allow the people who are doing the work to continue to do the work and do it in a more manageable way.
Yeah, it's been a fun project, let me say. I started my career in the homeless system. You spent a great amount of your career in the homeless system. There's like a little bit of nostalgia for me. I know some of the people that we've been able to connect with and help. There's a piece of it that has been good for the soul, for sure.
Yeah.
And the contractors we got are just amazing.
They are.
And being able to witness their amazingness has been good for the soul also.
Right.
And to be able to help them grow, although they didn't really need a whole lot of help doing that, but just let them try out their contractor, right? Their 1099 muscles has been cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I have got travel coming up.
Where are you going?
Where am I going next? Oh, I'm not going anywhere this week. My partner is. I was like, I'm going somewhere this week, but I am not. I am staying here. I'll be eating dinner in bed for the next 3 days. But no, I'm going to Tennessee for my birthday.
Nice.
So Gatlinburg, which I haven't been to Gatlinburg in a really long time. And I do recall going to Gatlinburg and being wah wah. However, I found this very cute cabin and I'm super excited. And I'm just going to go try it out again and see if I like it. Recently, though, I went to Maine and went to the Acadia National Park.
Oh, that is on my bucket list.
Yes.
Is it beautiful?
It is beautiful. I will say going in April is not spring in Maine. Is not spring in Maine. A lot of things in some of those coastal towns are not open because they just closed down for the winter and reopened for the summer. So we stayed in Bar Harbor and we stayed in a bed and breakfast that was just wonderful. And like when I say bed and breakfast, I mean they cooked a full breakfast. You got to choose a sweet or a savory option. There were cookies and muffins and fruit and granola all day long waiting for you. Coffee, tea. It was just wonderful. The rooms were very nice. The innkeeper there was very nice. And I don't remember what it was called, or I would tell you, but a lot of things in Bar Harbor were closed. But I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if this town was full of people and just wild, I would not be having a good time. Yeah. So we only had a few restaurants to choose from, and that was perfect because I do not like a lot of choices. And when we went to the national park, there are parts of the park that are also closed because of the weather. But it worked out well because the park is so big. You could probably stay there a very long time and go through all the things, but we got to see everything we wanted to see. The weather was a little bit cold, but it wasn't terrible. It was good enough that we could wear a jacket and some gloves, and it was fine. So we had a really good time. I've never been to Maine before. It was nice.
That's awesome. You crossed another state off the list. That's good.
Yeah.
Acadia has been on my bucket list. I've been really hitting a lot of national parks, I would say, at this phase in my life, kind of since COVID, as I think many people have. And I do like going to a national park just right on the cusp of the off season because you don't have to deal with the crowds.
Yes.
My cousin, who's my best friend, and I, we did Glacier kind of like that, right? Not everything was open, but some things were open. It was chilly, but I mean, just to be in like the park and it's quiet and it's tranquil and it's beautiful and there's a small towny feel to it, not so touristy. Because I think if you go in the total off season, you're not going to be able to see what you want to see. But if you can get there right on the in-between times, I think that might be the sweet spot, right? Those of us that don't have kids and other people's schedules and things like that, that we have to accommodate. Well, that's good. That's exciting.
Yeah. And then we're going to New York City, and then I'll be going back to Tennessee to go to Nashville. And I think just Jamaica. Those are the ones that are scheduled right now.
Those are on the books. So that's a good variety of places. I know this does feel like the year of the traveling for us. Amber and I get together and we schedule, obviously, right? When we're going to record our podcast. And we sit down. It's like, well, I can't do this weekend. Well, I can't do this weekend. Well, I can't do this weekend.
Oh, we're going to do the retreat. We're going to do the full, that was the other thing. So we've got to book that.
We do. So we think what we're going to do is have a multi-day retreat, like Friday through Sunday retreat for folks. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So we're hoping to do it here in Ohio, then what we said, maybe an hour and a half of Dayton. So not too far so people can drive and travel and not feel like they've driven 1,000 miles to get there. We were looking at Hocking Hills. That's where we did our retreat for our business. So we were looking around places there, but there are also some other options in the area. And we're looking like a Friday to a Sunday. Small group of people all staying together in a cabin doing some meditations, doing a Reiki level 1 certification during that weekend. So coming and peppering in the classes that you would need in order to have your Reiki level 1 certification.
Nice. So you would just come, participate in the retreat and the activities and the workshops that would be part of the retreat. You would leave with your Reiki 1.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We would do all the food and schedule some times that we can hike, but really just building that community and being able to have some relaxing time away. I do think we're going to make this retreat all women, and I think it'll be a good time. We've done mini retreats, or we've done half a day mini retreats before, and this would just kind of be an expanded version of that, really.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited for it. I'm also excited to get my Reiki level 1.
Yeah.
So that'll be a cool thing to add to the old resume. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
I think that'll be cool and something we've talked about doing for a long time. Another new thing that we're doing, now that we're kind of in the third wheel vein, new things, is we're going to start bringing guests on the podcast, which I'm excited about. You guys have probably heard enough of Jill and Amber talking about peeling back the onion and being true to yourself. And no, I'm just kidding. We'll never stop talking about that. But we thought it was time to maybe spice it up a little bit. So one, if you have a topic or an expert or a person that you would be interested in hearing from, please let us know.
Or you're a person who would like to be on the
That's
podcast.
what I was just going to say. Or if you yourself feel like you have a story that, if you're listening, you know what our vibe is. Do you have a story that aligns with the vibe? Do you have something going on that you think would be cool for our community to hear about?
Yeah.
Please come on. I'm excited for our first couple of guests. I think we have a cool, diverse array of people identified. So stay tuned for that. That'll be really fun. One thing that I was thinking about when we were talking creatively, so I've made the decision, and probably in the last 3 or 4 weeks, where I'm going to try to give myself more space for creativity, specifically writing. You know, sometimes I don't know how to describe this, and people are going to be like, man, Jill, you're really losing it. But it seems sometimes I just have a thought or a message, something that comes on my heart, not to sound cringy or weird, but just something that I feel like I need to write this out. I feel like I need to express this. I feel like I need to share it with the world. And I really want to give myself an outlet to try to start to write that more creatively. And I've been thinking about how could I incorporate that into the work we're doing with Third Wheel. Does it look like posting on social? Does it look like a newsletter? People are probably sick of e-newsletters. Let us know if you're sick of email newsletters. We're a quarter of the way through the year, and I'm just trying to think, are there any creative or professional things that I want to tap into?
I mean, you haven't been writing a book since January 1st like me?
You've been writing a book?
Every day since January 1st.
And that's what I'm thinking about doing. Right now I'm just going with the flow and trying to make sure at least probably twice each week I'm taking some time. But I've thought about making it a part of my morning routine. I'm going to get up and I'm going to write for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Come what may.
Yeah.
And if I'm really on one, I'll write for 40 minutes. So what's your book about, or do you not want to share?
It's pretty much just that. I write an entire page on a topic. After I meditate, I normally have something that I'm thinking about, and I'm like, let me just write down my thoughts on this. And I just write one page on it. And I know that I have pages in there of similar topics, and so hopefully when I go back and look at it at the end of the year, I'll have some idea of how I want to put all of that together. And I've also been writing it for my kids. So in the form that it's in now, it could be given to them. I also have been posting more videos online. I've been being more, I don't know if that's creative or not, but I mean, it's not, because everybody posts videos online except for me. But I normally do a card pull every day, and I started doing that back when we did the 60 Strong Challenge a couple years ago. And I've kept up with that just recently. What I watch online is people that do videos and talk to me.
Yeah, I like videos.
So I was like, well, let me try to do that. And they seem to get good response and good view rate on them. And even if they didn't, I probably wouldn't care. I'd just keep doing it because I'm a creature of habit. So I've just been every other day do a live card pull. And what I will say about it is so much quicker for me to do that than it is for me to pull a card, write a thing, post a picture, put it all together. I can just
get her done.
One and done with the video.
It's interesting. It has me thinking with everything that has gone on in our country and in the world since the beginning of the year. Because to me, and I'm going to come full circle, but one thing that happened for me this year that was so exciting and so awesome is that my best friend got got married in January. And that was just wonderful. One, because I love her. I got to be in the wedding. It was so cool. I was joking with everybody. This feels like my wedding because we've been best friends forever. It's all the people I love and, and care about were there. It was just an absolutely wonderful weekend. And she got married the weekend after the inauguration. So I think she got married on the 25th, whatever that Saturday was, after President Trump became our president. And he came in aggressive, right? And there was much drama, but really by the Tuesday or Wednesday, I just didn't pay attention because I was all eyes on my best friend and this wedding. I am so proud of all of us because I feel like we did a very good job of shutting that out and celebrating. But then I came out of that, and probably to where everybody else already was, to just the frenzy that has occupied our social media space, our news space. If you work in the nonprofit or treatment world, our workspace, because everybody's melting down about funding. I'm a federal employee, and there was so much noise. It has me wondering now, why are we so committed to writing or sharing? I wonder if this is our way of trying to find our voice again, or trying to make space for good things, creative things, happy things, just in spite of or amidst all of this madness. Because I think one thing we haven't said yet, we've had a lot of cool business stuff and cool work stuff and personal stuff. It's been a wild couple of months for our communities in a way that it almost reminiscent of COVID to me. There's this dissociative space that I feel like I'm living in a little bit. It's hard to feel all the way grounded, but there's like pockets of what feels like normalcy. But overall, I think the energy is just so crazy.
Yeah. I know for me, some of this work or effort that I've been putting in more so now really comes from a place of I feel grounded in the chaos, if that makes sense. And I know that at different points in my life I wouldn't have. And I look around me at the people that I care about and the people that I work with, and I see the people who are ungrounded that maybe aren't there yet. They're experiencing this in a very different way than I'm experiencing it, for a whole host of reasons, not just being energetically grounded, but because they have different life circumstances than I have. But it really is pushing me to offer something.
Yes.
Offer what you know. Offer something out into the world that maybe could help somebody grab a little bit of peace, could grab a little bit of calm, could grab a little bit of groundedness. Even if they're not in the same space as you, you should be grateful that you're here and you need to share it. And I think that is why I started doing those videos, because I really feel like I need to give people some hope and some energetic messaging to help them understand that yes, we are still moving forward. Life happens in cycles. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Is it ideal? No, I don't think most people feel like this is ideal, but such is life, right? And I don't want to minimize what people are going through, but I also want everyone to be able to take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize life comes in cycles. There's nothing inherently wrong with me because this is happening. Sometimes people get into this space of I have to fix, I have to fix, I have to fix, I have to control this in some way. That's not going to help you. That's going to create more anxiety for you. And I know that because of what I've been through in my life and just at different points in time. And I just want to help other people understand that you've got to let go of some of that control, even though it feels like everything is going wild. It's not going to be any less wild. You're just going to be more anxious about it.
We talked about this in the podcast episode, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 ago, where we were talking about what was going on. And we talked about there has to be that surrender and that releasing from the panic mode, because that's where you're going to be able to find how can I contribute, right? How can I take care of myself, take care of the people around. There is a way for all of us to participate in creating a world that is more beautiful and more just. But if you are in, to your point, a nuclear meltdown at all times, you're never going to get there. That is nice and that is important. And for me, I'm such a person that overwhelm equals shut down. I just am, well, if I don't want to be here, I will leave in my brain, right? And I will not be here. And so I think I've gotten good at not melting down, but you don't want that pendulum to swing all the way, right? How do we let it settle in the middle where we're still feeling, we're still noticing, we're still engaged, but we're not completely freaking out?
Right.
Writing for me is such a grounding practice. So I've been proud of myself for doing that over the last month. I bought myself some fancy pens and a journal. Of course, I couldn't get them from Amazon because I've given up Amazon. I'm proud of myself for doing it. Will I say my life is a lot harder in giving up Amazon? Yes. I'm Jeff Bezos. You will not get my $13 or however much I pay per month, but where the heck am I supposed to buy anything? How will itty bitty my cat get food? Nobody knows. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I did buy some pretty new pens from a store and a nice notebook, and that has helped my writing too.
I feel like I've had to double down a little bit on some of my grounding practices and what I do and making sure that I'm really taking that time, just the world in general. But then when you've got a lot of stuff going on at work and in your business and in your life, and that means that there are other people where a lot of stuff's going on and you're having to interact with them and all this very whipped up energy, and making sure that I really am prioritizing all of the things that I need in order to stay grounded, and making sure that I'm giving myself grace when I can't do everything in my routine, but choose the things that you need, Amber. Choose to go to bed early at night so that you are energized the next day. Choose to meditate over scrolling through emails or scrolling through Instagram, things like that. And I will say, I'm glad that you brought up the wanting to be more creative piece of it, because I feel that I didn't have like words for it. I started those moon circles, and I'm going to do an oracle class. So learning how to use oracle cards, and then I probably will do a follow-up drop-in where we can just get together and pull cards and talk online. But I feel like for me, it's a way for me to give back and help people find practices that can ground them and help them find community. And it makes sense of the world, right? When we do the moon circles, we talk about, it's this phase in the moon and it's in this sign. Here are the themes around that. Let's think about those themes in our life. Have those things been coming up? And just being able to have those types of conversations, it helps you reorder what you've been thinking and be able to see things maybe from a different perspective. Because when you're stuck in that everything is bad, it's really hard to pull yourself back up out of that without looking at things differently.
I'll tell you, so I have a bunch of different oracle and tarot decks. My favorite deck has always been the moon deck. What's it called? The Moonology oracle deck. And there was a moment, probably for close to a year, where I tracked the moon cycles. If you know me well, my desk setup in my home office would not surprise you, but probably if somebody just walked in, it would feel jarring. I have a very crazy desk setup, and I have this whiteboard, and I would write, this is when the full moon is, this is when the new moon is, and I would erase them and add in the new ones. And probably for a year, I pulled cards and tracked the cycling of the moon and my own patterns, relationships, goal setting, mood, all of that. And that was probably the most grounded year I've ever had in my life. Just really tracking energetically. And part of it, I think, is just because I was in the groove with the universe. But I think a lot of it was for the reason that you just said, is that I was stopping at least 3 or 4 times per week and thinking about, here's what is going on astrologically, right? How does that resonate for me? And I think I was just really more engaging in this really consistent, reflective space, and thinking about what cycles are coming to an end. Right? In this space of new beginnings, what do I want to prioritize? And that was a great year when I was the moon queen with all of my scribbled dates all over the walls around my desk. It's making me, now that I talk about it, want to do it.
When we do moon circles, it's crazy because the similarity between everyone's experience is just crazy. We'll do a meditation and we'll talk about something, and then I'll pull cards and I'll pull a card. We literally read it and it is exactly what we just talked about. And it's like, well, I guess this is what's happening.
When I was doing that really meditative practice around the cycling of the moon, I felt very aligned. I felt like me and the universe and the energy and everything was in a groove. We talk about a lot in here, in the canoe, in the stream, and we need to pull up the paddle, right? And not be flailing around and grabbing onto branches and causing a ruckus in the river. And that is the time where I just felt aligned. I felt like I was flowing, and it was nice. It was interesting. So I was just in the Bahamas on a girls' trip, and we were not at Nassau. That's where all the cruise ships go. We were on, I think it's called Grand Bahama Island by Freeport, which is way small. I don't know if the island itself is smaller. I think the island itself is bigger, but way smaller population. I don't think they have the harbors and stuff that can accommodate cruise ships, so they don't really see a lot of cruise ships that come through. They had a really bad hurricane that has messed it up. Anyways, I say all that to say we went to their national park for a day. I actually ran along the beach where they filmed Pirates of the Caribbean. It was probably one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful beach I've ever been to.
Wow.
I am lucky that I'm a pretty well-traveled person. I went to Australia a couple of years ago with my mom because my aunt was there for her job. And I mean, I've seen some beautiful tropical beaches, and I really think this one blew them all out of the water. I was flabbergasted. We're at the national park. They're talking about lagoons and beaches and sand dunes and shit, and I'm not really paying attention. But I did perk up when he said, yeah, you know, and this water will recede and these fish will come. And he's like, yeah, you know, maybe when it's about like a quarter moon or not when it's a full moon. And I was just thinking this entire ecosystem is impacted by the phases of the moon. And I think sometimes we forget that power.
Yeah.
And that it's there for us to tap into, to harness, to even just feel. And I've just thought about that for the last week. Wow, an entire beach and the animals that live there and the way all the shit is different depending on the phase of the moon.
Well, people's behavior is different depending on the phase of the moon. I mean, we see that in social services, people that work in hospitals, they'll tell you that is the case. And it's true. This is from the girl who's had parasites 1,000 times, but what I will tell you is when there's a full moon, if you have parasites, you will know because they kick up. They start moving around more around the full moon.
I think sometimes we forget just about the power that's accessible to us.
Yeah. Some people are like, don't talk to me about the moon or a crystal or a rock or anything. I mean, you don't have to think about it, but they all do exist.
It's all there. So what are you looking forward to for Q2 and the rest of the year? We've talked a little bit about what's coming business-wise, some of our own goals. Is there anything else that we've forgotten to talk about?
I think another thing that I am excited about business-wise is I've got a couple ideas about some workshops that I would like to launch virtually, so I'm excited about that. I am excited about the Oracle workshop.
I think that
people have wanted that, and I have some good ideas around how we can make that work. And then I really want to move after we do that. I want to have kind of like what I have for the Moon Circles, some Oracle monthly meetups that are free, and people can come and we can pull cards and talk and look at different spreads and just create community around that. And that's definitely something that I've used as a grounding practice for a really long time, and I feel like I can share with other people, because I think sometimes people look at cards and they're like, I wouldn't even know what to do with this.
Sure.
Right? And what I'll tell you is there's no right or wrong way to do it, but at the end of the day, there are ways, if you understand what you're working with, that you can use those divination tools in different ways for yourself. That is something that I would like to share with the community, is how do you do that for yourself, and how do you use it in a way that can be helpful for you to look at different areas of your life and different topics in your life. So I am excited about that. I really like these Moon Circles. They've been very small, and they're free though. They're completely virtual. They're completely free. We do them on the full moon and on the new moon. We meet for about an hour. They're at 7:00 at night. I look forward to it. It is so much fun.
That's awesome.
It is just so much fun. The way that they are right now is they are capped. And we've never had that many people in there because we just started doing it. I would just love to have more people in that community. It's a good time.
Sometimes it's easier for us to sign up for a workshop, sign up for something, because then we're actually going to make the time to engage in the practice, right? As opposed to being like, well, I'll do my own journaling or I'll do my own meditating. It gets a lot harder when it's not scheduled, for sure.
Yeah.
I need to come. That's going to be on my Q2 bucket list of things I want to do, is I want to come to a Moon Circle. I am looking forward to a little bit less traveling, hopefully. I have a new assignment at work that is probably going to require some travel, but I think it will be less than what it's been. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the warm weather.
For sure.
Being able to take walks again. You know, I had a really busy fall, then of course transitioned straight into the holidays, which are never not busy, just with activities and stuff. And during that time, which I think I've shared on here, I left the job I was at for 5 years and the kind of the program I had built, and started a new job, which I'm really enjoying. But anytime you start a new job, although I feel like this job is way less stressful, it's just different. It's still still is stressful, right? To start a new job and to be surrounded by new people and to be the new girl that doesn't fucking know anything. I don't know how to unlock the door. I don't know where the files are kept. Can someone help me get a pen? It just sucks being the new person. So I'm really looking forward to I feel like I'm settled in, right? I've been there almost 6 months now. That feels good. So I am looking forward to a low stress Q2.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for our podcast guests.
Yes, I am too.
I hope it goes well because I'm going to be really sad if it's like...
We've got to work on our interviewing skills.
We do.
I mean, we do kind of interview each other, but not really because we would both talk without the other prompting.
Oh, yeah. I could talk for 45 minutes staring at this wall by myself. But we do need to think about our interview skills and we need to get good at shutting the fuck up when other people are talking. Because I feel like we have such cool people that I'm going to get so excited. And I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I just had 7 thoughts and here they all are. So I need to
No one's listening to this for your thoughts.
Shut up. They want to listen to our cool guests. But we mean it for real. We're always like, tell us this, but we like for real.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because I think we're thinking maybe a podcast with me and Amber, then have a guest, then maybe 1 or 2 with us, and then have a guest in that cadence.
Yeah.
So please let us know what you want to hear. And I'm so excited for you guys to listen to the cool new people we have coming to talk to you. But I think we should probably end it. I think we've jabbered on for a while. Let's pull a card for all of us as we move into this next
Do you need a moonology card?
Will you do a moon card for me?
Yeah. All right, let's take a deep breath together and release. And we will set the intention that you will receive exactly what you need from this moonology oracle card reading. We did get meditate and contemplate.
What is that? New moon in Pisces?
Yes. Jill knew that without looking at the card. Okay, so the new moon in Pisces. This card speaks of dreams and romance, of soulmates and poetry. It suggests that a new start coming your way that's connected to a matter that leaves you feeling somewhere between having your head in the clouds and being in a totally altered state. There could be confusion and disappointment if that's what you've had before and that's what you're expecting. However, if you're onto a good thing, then wish hard because the words of your soul and your heart could help bring about the manifestation of your dreams. All that sounds a little wet and watery, then that's Pisces for you. This is the last sign of the zodiac, and the new moon in Pisces card suggests a last-ditch chance to make your dreams come true.
I told you, Amber, I pulled this card, but then I was like, oh, maybe not.
No, it does. It's a last-ditch effort to make your dreams come true. So it says, use your feelings to guide your way. Logic won't work right now.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Because we're in a transition, we're in a new time. How much longer are you going to delay before you do what you really want to do?
Yeah.
The year is a quarter of the way gone.
Right. And follow your feelings. Follow what your heart's telling you. Even if it seems illogical to do that, just do it. Last ditch effort. Get in there.
Go. And there's no space in this world for logic right now anyway.
No, you're not going to find it anyway. So create your own perception of reality and move forward.
Follow your heart.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Guided by Third Wheel, the podcast. We would be honored if you would like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, be well.